Today, we're going to help you overcome the insanity of sanitizers. Get it?
Pools get very dirty. They just do. Every time you go for a swim, your body oils, sweat, dirt, sunscreen, and who knows whatever else goes in the water with you. And some of it stays behind. Just imagine what happens to the water when you've had a few friends over or a few dozen.
Even when you're not in the water, plant byproducts like pollen, grass, and leaves will inevitably find their way into your pool.
That isn't even the worst of it. The Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization have listed literally thousands of bacteria, viruses, and other pathogens commonly found in a pool,
Including, but not limited to, hepatitis A, salmonella, and E. coli. Are you freaked out yet? Well, don't worry. I'm not trying to scare you away from your pool. But you need to know what you're up against and why properly sanitizing your pool is so important to you and your family.
There's many different sanitizers as well as a variety of delivery methods. Today, we're just going to focus on two most common, chlorine and bromine. We'll show you how they work and the differences between them, and how to use them effectively and safely.
The most common sanitizer for pools by far is chlorine. It's an inexpensive chemical with a very long half-life, which means it can be stored for long periods without losing effectiveness. Chlorine levels should be maintained around 3 parts per million. This is more than enough to protect you from normal amounts of bacteria and microorganisms. Weekly shocks are strongly recommended during the swimming season. These are temporary boosts up to 30 parts per million to stay ahead of extra contaminants. A general rule of thumb is 1 pound of powdered shock for every 10,000 gallons of water, but it'll depend on the concentration of the shock that you're using. Check with your local pool expert if you have any questions. So, what does chlorine actually do?
When added to the water, it combines with free oxygen and hydrogen to create new chemicals, one of which is hypochlorous acid, or what we refer to as free or active chlorine. This weak acid kills microorganisms by attacking the cell wall, and once inside, it combines with its proteins, quickly destroying the cell.
However, hypochlorous acid also readily combines with nitrogen, usually introduced to the pool water as sweat or urine. This combination forms chloramines, or what we refer to as combined chlorine. It is these chloramines that produce the smell and chemical irritation typically associated with chlorine.
Combined chlorine is used up or preoccupied with its nitrogen counterpart and won't attack microorganisms. It can also make your water cloudy and opens the door for algae. Over time, the combined chlorine will gas off as light and heat burn the chlorine residual from your pool. However, you can and should speed this process up by adding an oxidizer like potassium microsulfate to your pool. This breaks down the nitrogen compounds, removing the smell and irritation, and frees up your active chlorine to do the job it's meant for.
Chlorine has two weaknesses, heat and sunlight. In hot water or in direct sun, 50% of your chlorine will burn out every 30 minutes or so. You can counter this by adding cyanuric acid, or CYA, to your water. Cyanuric acid will stabilize your chlorine, extending its life significantly.
Cyanuric acid needs to be balanced at around 60 to 80 parts per million for outdoor pools exposed to a lot of sunlight. If your pool is indoors or heavily shaded for most of the day, or if you have a saltwater chlorinator, ask your pool expert how much you might need, if any.
One thing to note with cyanuric acid is that it only leaves your pool when you drain water out, so be careful not to add too much. Too much cyanuric acid will bind with your chlorine, making it less effective, and can cloud your pool. Stabilized chlorine in the form of tablets or powders contains cyanuric acid. These products are designed to be added slowly to compensate for normal water loss. But if you use too much or try to shock your pool with it, it's very easy to end up with more CYA than the recommended maximum of 100 parts per million.
Make sure you're shocking your pool with unstabilized powders like calcium hypochlorite or sodium hypochlorite.
Bromine is very much like chlorine. They're even neighbors on the periodic table. When bromide salts are added to water, they combine with hydrogen to form hypobromous acid.
Unlike chlorine, bromine is very stable in hot water. It's a great choice for hot tubs. The advantage is that after bromine binds with bacteria, it does not burn out or gas off like combined chlorine. It's reduced to a bromine ion and can be reactivated by adding an oxidizer. This means you don't have to add as much or as often to keep your hot tub water clean. Once you're at the recommended 3 to 5 parts per million, maintenance is fairly easy.
Bromine can also be hard on metals, which is why modern spas use virtually no metals in their construction. Keeping bromine oxidized and pH balanced is critical. While bromine does not react to nitrates and smell or produce irritants in the same way that chlorine does, it does have an odor that's more difficult to get rid of. In large quantities, or if the water's pH becomes unbalanced, bromine can't live up to its namesake, bromos, the Greek word for stench. We hope this video helps to bring sanity to the subject of sanitizers. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button below. And subscribe if you want to see us demystify more of the chemistry, technology, and techniques that go with pool ownership. If you're in the Minneapolis area, give us a call, 763-542-9000. Or stop by our store at the intersection of Highway 169 and 36th Avenue in Plymouth.
And be sure to check us out at our website, dolphinpool-spa.com. Till next time, happy swimming.